Hello and welcome everybody to another Licks live stream. It's Friday, so time to do another one of these. And today I'm going to dive into some licks that happened on last week's Jazz Blues. I put out like a slow jazz blues that kind of blurred the lines between standard blues and a jazz blues. So it's got a little bit of the jazz style progression in there. It's got a 2-5-1 as the turnaround at the end. And it was obviously improvised, as all my solos are for the channel, but we had a lick at the end, which happened on the 2-5-1 that I had quite a few inquiries about. And I thought, hey, I'm going to show it right here for you guys how to play that lick right there. So basically, we're going to learn a 2-5-1 lick in G that you can use on any kind of jazz blues or any jazz jam with a 2-5-1 situation happening in G. As always, you know, obviously, once you've learned a lick, I highly recommend that you try and play it in other keys as well. That's where it goes from being just a lick to being, you know, sort of language that you can develop as a player. So always try and you know, translate your licks between the keys and between the positions and really make maximum use of them like that. All right, guys. So so like I said, this is from a jam that happened last week. So if you want the backing track that you can practice on, and if you want to check out the whole solo, it's linked below in the description right there, so you can learn the lick and then you can practice with that backing track, obviously. And you can also watch the whole solo. And there's also a tab for it if you'd like that. That is on my Patreon where all of my tabs go. So if you were to join, for example, the Tab Lover tier, which is the most popular one, you would get like access to 170 tabs, more than 170 tabs, just like that. So there's a lot of stuff on there, and I'm always adding new stuff, including like sort of in-depth lessons as well. So there we go, guys. Appreciate the support, and let's jump into it. I've set up a little loop, so I'll play you the lick, and then we'll talk a little bit about the theory. It uses one of my favorite scales for a dominant chord, and more about that in a second. So I'll just play you the lick. So 2-5-1 in G obviously is A minor or A minor 7, D, D7, and G or G7. All right, so it's A minor 7, D7, and G7. So if you're in the key of G and you have the G, let's say the G major scale, if you count 1, 2, that's the 2 chord. So we're building a chord from the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got built from the 5th step. We got the 5 chord, and then obviously the 1 chord is from the 1st step, in case you were wondering what a 2-5-1 is. So it's chords built from the 2nd, the 5th, and the 1st step of the key that we're in, which is G. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is G. Here comes A minor. D7. And G. All right, I'm gonna play it one more time for you guys. So 3, 4. All right, there we go, guys. So there's your lick, and yeah, so it moves across the whole guitar here, and descending, we have a certain scale. It is the half whole step dominant diminished scale. All right, so it's the diminished scale, but not the whole step half step scale, but the half step whole step scale. So it's called the dominant diminished, and I'll show you exactly how to play that. But let's start with the first part of the lick. So we're going to start with this note here, which is just the very last note of the bar before. So the first note of the bar is that note there. So we basically start by pulling off from 14 to 12 on the D string. Okay, with your third finger. So you're pulling off like that. And then you play 14 again. So, okay. Now you're going to go up to 14 on the G string with your third finger. Okay. And then you're going to go back to, this one's kind of optional, but you're going to go back to 14 on the D string. Like that. And then you're going to go up to 13 on the B string with your second finger. Okay, so if you see what's happening here, I'm literally just playing these notes, which is an A minor arpeggio. So I'm really just outlining chord tones, which is like one of the main rules or the tricks or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's just such a worthwhile approach to jamming, and especially when things get jazzy. It's like you cannot go wrong with chord tones. If you play the chord tones of any chord progression, you're like, you know, you're safe. You can't really go wrong. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing around. I'm adding other notes around them, but I'm basically sort of circling around the chord tones because it always works. Okay. So far so good. Now you're gonna go back to 14 on G with your third finger, and then you're gonna go okay, so that is like I said, 14 on G, and then we got 12 on the B string and 15 with the little finger, and you're gonna pull off again to 12, and then you're gonna play 13 with the second finger on the B string. So like that. Okay? So just try and isolate that one part right there. So like that. So that's your first part of the lick. I'll play it with the music. Okay, and again. And again. Okay. So that's the first part. Now we're gonna go again, continuing like an arpeggiated approach. So this here is just, that's the minor third of A minor, that's the fifth, that's the flat 7, and then we're gonna slide jazzily into the 9th of an A minor 7 chord. So or an A minor 9 chord, if you want to call it that. So there we go. Really just arpeggios right there. So that is 13 on the B string with the second finger, 12th fret on the top E string, first finger, then 15th fret with the little finger. And then again, you're going to move your little finger up to the 18th fret and slide that into the 19th fret. Like that. I love this phrase. I've actually been kind of using various versions of this phrase for many years. It's sort of evolved over the years, but I keep coming back to this little twist and chromatic idea that comes after this as well. Okay, so super handy jazz lick right there. You know, if you were just in the key of A minor, this would totally work as well. But We're obviously in G here, playing the jazz blues in G. All right, so after we slide up to that 19 there, we're gonna just go down chromatically from 19 all the way down to 15, but we're gonna do it with a succession of pull-offs and that, so that it has a a certain type of phrasing that makes it so just that the phrasing is a little more interesting than if you were going like that. That's a whole topic for itself, and we will definitely talk more about phrasing. I put up a poll yesterday or maybe the day before, and man, I had a lot of ideas from you guys as to how I can help you guys more with these Licks live streams, and also with my my lessons on Patreon. And I really appreciate all that feedback, and we'll definitely be looking into providing answers to many of those topics. And one of the topics was phrasing, and yeah, this is phrasing is the reason that I play this phrase like this. The way that I've placed the hammer-ons, or the pull-offs rather, and the slides, creates a certain type of rhythmic contour to the phrase, that if you were going, it would be da 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 da. But if you're going like that, ba ba ba, you got all the upbeats accentuated, which creates, for me, a much more interesting phrasing. And for any jazz musician, it's kind of vital to have that kind of interest, I feel anyway, in your phrasing. So that's what's happening here. So I'm sliding up like that, and then I'm pulling off from 18 to 17 with my with my third finger to my second finger. Okay, and then I'm gonna slide with my first finger to from 16 to 15, like that. So sliding up with my little finger from 18 to 19, and then pulling off, and then sliding. So that's something that you probably want to just zoom in on and practice yourself, like that. Okay? Okay? And now we're going to do a quick little lick we're going to pull off with the third finger from 17 to 15 very quickly, and then slide down to 14 with the first finger, like that. Okay, so it's like that. And now we go 16 and 15, third finger to second finger on the B string. And now that means that we land on the D chord right there. Okay? And here we're already starting to think of the scale. We're sort of anticipating the scale that we're using for the D chord, which is what I said, dominant diminished scale. And so that's the scale that goes half tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone. So there's a lot you can do with that scale, but what we do here is literally just go down that scale. Like that, just going down the scale. I'll show you obviously exactly how to do it. I'll just play what we got so far up till now. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so so far so good. So we land there on the D chord, and now we're gonna do a slide from 13 to 12 on the B string. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just go down the scale. So it's literally just a whole step, half step, 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 all the way down. But obviously the fingering and the way that we phrase it is kind of important. So I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. And so it starts there with the second finger on the 15th fret, and slide down 13 to 12. Then I'm using my third finger on 14 of the G string, second finger on 13, then first finger slides from 11 to 10, still on the G string. Now we're going to go on the D string, use your little finger on the 13th fret, then 12, then 10, slide down to 9. Now we're going to go basically the same shape on the A string, so the A note first on the 12th fret of the A string, little finger, third finger on 11, first finger on 9, slide down to 11. Okay, so you see this is the same. And we're going to do the same shape again, but this time starting on the 11th fret of the low E string. And so that is that right there, the E flat on the 11th fret with your little finger, and then third finger on 10, first finger on 8, sliding down to 7. Okay, so that was lovely dominant sound for any dominant chord in any song, really, that is remotely jazzy. I love that kind of tension that scale brings. So yeah, there's the dominant diminished magic for you guys. And then we're just gonna finish it off with a little bit of blues, because I go, so I land on that B note there, and then I go back up to the 5th, which is played with the little finger on the 10th fret of the low E string, and then I'm gonna go back up to that B note there, but from down below, from a semitone below, slide into it in a kind of bluesy way. So okay, and then I'm gonna go get kind of bluesy about it. This is just a blues approach there at the end, sliding, you know, from the minor third on the 6th fret with your first finger, slide down to the A note there on the 5th, and then slide again down to the root note, the G on the 3rd fret of the low E string. So you go like that. Yeah. And then we're just gonna finish off with playing the G note there of the octave on the 5th fret of the D string, and then we're gonna do another kind of blues vibe here, just going from the minor third to the major third, obviously classic blues lick. So that's 3rd fret to the 4th fret on the G string, hammering on from your first finger to the 2nd finger, like that. Okay, so that was like that. Okay, I am going to play the whole thing for you guys. There we go. Let's do it again. Okay. And there we have it, guys. I hope that you enjoy these licks. Obviously, like I said, if you want to practice this on the jam track, just hit up the jam track. It's linked below. And also, if you want to watch the whole solo, or if you want to get the tab for this and the whole solo, it is also linked below. It's on my Patreon where all of my tabs go. Appreciate the support on there, guys, and hope that you will have loads of fun with this lick. And yeah, tomorrow we got a new jam coming out. It's kind of a funky blues, and I've actually got a special guest on the intro solo. I look forward to sharing that with you guys. He is a young Scottish guitar player and brilliant player. He really killed it. Kind of surprised me, actually, with all due respect. He really killed it on the intro solo, so I look forward to sharing that one with you guys. And actually, the tab for that will also be up on my Patreon, so that's landing tomorrow. And yeah, next week I'm actually going on holiday, so there will be no Wednesday warm-up next week. However, I should be back to do another Licks live stream on Friday.